There might be a new contender for the best sniper in Pokemon Unite, and no, it's not Inteleon or Decidueye. What's up guys, Nintendo Jab here, back with a brand new Pokemon Unite video, and Venusaur honestly is kind of crazy right now thanks to some buffs and also thanks to some combination of items and stuff, and it just basically, like I just said in that little intro, it kind of puts him as a contender for one of the best snipers in the game now. So the particular build that we're going to be doing is the one that is often called the Sludge Beam, aka the Sludge Bomb and Solar Beam build for Venusaur. I think prior to some of these buffs, it was more common to see the other build that people usually go with Venusaur, the Giga Drain as well as Petal Dance build, but because of these buffs, I actually think that the Solar Beam build is really good right now, especially if you're like me and you like to kind of stay at range and just kind of snipe until you can get some picks, get some kills and stuff. I think that is a preferable way to play Venusaur, at least for me personally, and because of some of, again, like I mentioned, some of the buffs that we just got due to Venusaur, it just makes him really good at sniping with that Solar Beam and the Sludge Bomb combo. So here's just a quick look at some of the buffs that Venusaur did get in case you missed them. This wasn't in the previous hotfix patch, but rather the actual like huge patch before that, when Groudon dropped and stuff like that. Venusaur went ahead and got buffed. They pretty much buffed all of its base stats, HP, defense, special defense, all that stuff. And they also buffed Solar Beam. It used to do only 1.5% of the enemy's max HP, but now it does 2.5%. So that's actually a pretty significant buff. And it also kind of helps with those tankier targets. The more max HP they have, of course, the more damage your Solar Beam is going to do when you actually land it on them. Now for the items, here is just a quick look at what I personally run. I think the main core item here that really makes us like a really scary threat is that Drive Lens, especially if you can get those stacks really early on in the game, which is going to give you more and more special attack, of course. But yeah, pretty much the whole idea behind this build is I'm playing as a sniper. I'm not going to be doing that much auto attacking, so I'm not really investing in anything like that. I'm pretty much investing purely into special attack, maybe even a little bit of cooldown reduction so that you can spam that Solar Beam a little bit more. And so yeah, everything is pretty much revolving around that Solar Beam. The Sludge Bomb, of course, doesn't do the most damage, but it does slow targets down, so it makes it so that you can kind of stay away from people, or you could just land your Solar Beams a little bit easier. But as you guys can see, whether you're attacking the wild Pokemon, whether you're attacking the actual like enemy opponents, this build just absolutely shreds people. It makes it so that it makes farming really easy. All you gotta do is drop a Sludge Bomb, Solar Beam, it pretty much is almost dead, and then you just land a couple auto attacks, and then the wild Pokemon will most likely be dead. Obviously, the Solar Beam allows you to potentially steal some big objectives because of that sniping nature and stuff. Allows you to stay safe as well, just because you can keep attacking from a distance. In this game in particular, I was going up against some pretty scary, speedsters or just all-rounders as well. I was going up against Buzzwole, I was going up against Leafeon, I was going up against Meowscarada. Those are three Pokemon that can just easily jump on a Venusaur and either burst you down or lock you down. So it was kind of intimidating to play against those three in one single match, but as you guys can see in the video, I managed to actually do okay regardless of having those three really scary picks. I think the core idea with this Venusaur build is just stay safe, stay behind, and just snipe with that Solar Beam. If you're having trouble hitting the Solar Beam, obviously use that Sludge Bomb to potentially slow them down, makes it easier to land that Solar Beam on them. And pretty much just farm kills so that you can get those stacks on that Drive Lens, like how I tried to do pretty much in this game. Basically made it so that I just started melting some of these enemy opponents. Now, usually when I do these type of videos and we talk about a particular build on a Pokemon, I don't like to just talk about the advantages of that build or what's good about it. I also like to talk about some things that you need to kind of keep in mind, maybe some of the drawbacks or some of the things that you just need to know in order to, play effectively. One thing about this build is obviously we're going to be a lot slower than the normal Petal Dance Giga Drain build that Venusaur players usually play when they're not playing this build. With that Petal Dance and Giga Drain, not only do you have an insane amount of speed, so it's easy to kind of get in and out and just run away from people even if you get jumped, but with Giga Drain as well, it gives you that HP recovery, so even if you get low, you can just heal back up. Unfortunately, with this build, the Solar Beam build, you don't get that speed boost from Petal Dance, and you don't get that HP recovery from Giga Drain. You're basically just a mage at this point with the Solar Beam build. You're just a spammy mage that is trying to snipe, and that's your way of doing damage. You have a little bit of less survivability because of that. Obviously, you can take X speed to kind of run away fast or whatever, or you could do what I did and took eject button just because I had a feeling that I was going to need eject button. And I think in this game in particular, it was probably the better held item to actually take over X speed. But yeah, that's just one thing that you need to keep in mind. Like normally you see Venusaurs, they're just running around like, you know, at sonic speed, basically just running around non-stop, healing up from absolutely everything because of Giga Drain. Unfortunately, with this build, it doesn't have as much survivability in my opinion. So you do need to keep like positioning in mind. You do need to try to stay safe, and also you probably have to take something like eject button in order to just get yourself out of sticky situations. Another thing that I would mention is the fact that, you know, because of the lack of mobility and stuff, you're just going to be an easy target for Pokemon like Buzzwole or Leafeon or Meowscarada, some of the picks that I went up against in this video. If they're smart about it, they'll focus you. They'll wait until they see you, and they'll flank you and your team, and then they'll just focus you down, and now you guys are down a very important pick, of course, with the Venusaur and stuff. You're going to probably be most of the team's damage with this build. But if you get picked, obviously that's going to be a really bad thing for your team. And unfortunately, with the lack of mobility in this build, it makes it very, very easy for you to get picked. I definitely don't want to make it seem like this build is bad or anything, though. With that in mind, of course, like I said, you just got to keep positioning in mind. You got to make sure that you're following where are those scary targets, you know, those targets that typically just jump on you and one-shot you, like the Leafeon, other Pokemon, you know, like Gengar or Absol or Zoroark, or, you know, any of those type of picks. You just got to keep track of them. Make sure that they're not flanking you. Make sure that they're not looking for you to, you know, just to catch you slipping, basically. You just got to keep them in mind. Snipe as much as you can, of course, get in that damage, try to get those picks so that you can start stacking that drive lens and get that extra special attack and stuff. And if you can do that, I think this build ends up being really, really scary to go against. I mean, just walking around and getting hit with a sludge bomb, now you're slow, and then boom, like 70% of your HP is gone because you get hit by that solar beam. It's a scary thing to go up against. So, you know, that's just another thing that makes this build so cool, is the fact that like you're a real threat because you can essentially almost one-shot people if you get that combo off. Especially if they've already taken a little bit of damage previously. I think one of the reasons why I would kind of consider this a really good snipe build compared to a Decidueye with Spirit Shackle or compared to an Inteleon with Snipe Shot is just because of the fact that this build just does so much damage. Not that they don't do that much damage, but I feel like, you know, it's just going to be one of those situations where it's a little bit easier to get kills with Venusaur with this particular build, especially if you go all in with the Solar Beam and then your ultimate. Whereas with Decidueye and with Inteleon, I feel like you have to land a couple of snipes in order to actually take people down. And I feel like with the Solar Beam max HP buff damage that it does, it's easier to actually take down tankier targets than it is with Decidueye or with Inteleon. I noticed in this game in particular, Buzzwole's HP didn't really matter. I was still chunking him down like crazy. Also Psyduck, as you guys can see here, traditionally kind of a hard Pokemon to actually kill because he can be quite a bit tanky. But in this situation, it was no problem. It just easy, you just absolutely destroy them. Buzzwole as well, as you guys can see here. Solar Beam, no problem, takes away all their HP. So that's one of the reasons why I would say that you know, this build in particular could be potentially one of the best snipe builds in the game right now. Just got to be careful with getting jumped like I just did right now with that Leafeon. If you miss though, you know, if you miss, it's pretty much it's over. It's not like Petal Dance or Giga Drain where you can just run around and kind of waste the enemy's time and stuff. No, if you miss, like you're kind of done until those cooldowns go down. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Let me know what you guys think of the Snipe Venusaur build down in the comments below. Have you been playing it? Are you gonna play it now? Very interested in hearing any comments that you guys have. You know, just go ahead and put them down there. We're getting super close to 1,000 subscribers, our first 1,000 subscribers, I should say. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure to do so. It really does help us out. That would be really cool to hit that goal before the end of this year. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.